Hi everyone.
Hi everyone. In the previous video, we implemented a mechanism to display open app settings dialog and also a mechanism to close this dialog. If you remember, currently when we press the request location permission button over here, we see a second dialog here, and if the user presses location permission allow, then the user sees a second dialog over here, which says that the user needs to open the app settings to give the required location permission. However, this is not what we want. This is not our requirement. If the this second dialog should only be shown when the user permanently denies the location permission. Otherwise, when we press this button, the OS permission dialog should be displayed, and the user can make their decision from the OS dialog. If all the permissions are allowed, this dialog will be closed, and the permission will be handled. So let's jump into the code and integrate what we did in the permission cubit into the map page. If you remember, we implemented a few methods here. Hide open app settings dialog, which is going to dismiss this dialog over here, and a display open app settings dialog boolean state, which can be either true or false. So let's jump into the UI and integrate this logic into the UI. Okay, so where should we start? We can start by converting this block listener to multi-block listener and add additional block listeners here. We are going to listen to our permission state, and let's think of our first condition. If the display open app setting dialog is not true, and actually if this state is changed, previous display open app setting dialog is not equal to current display open app settings dialog, and currently it is true, then what are we going to do? We are going to display, we are going to open this dialog. So let's handle this. Location services button. So let me find the correct dialog.
I think it's this one.
Yeah, it's this one. I'm just going to cut this code. And previously we were opening this dialog whenever we press allow, but from now on, it's only going to be displayed when this block listener is triggered. Okay, we put it over here. One of our block listeners is complete. And what happens if this state goes from display open app settings dialog goes from true to false? Let's handle that block listener case as well. Oops. I guess I put it in the wrong place. Yep. In this case, I am just going to put a not here and modify the body.
I think a navigator of context pub should be enough because we are already holding the state. We already know that the second dialog is open, right?
Yeah, exactly. So the dialog was opened, and this since the state turned from true to false, we are going to call navigator of context.pop. This one is done as well. So what else is left? Let's check the code. Previously, we were opening the second dialog when the user presses this button. Now we are going to call request location permission method of permission cubit. Let me find it.
I think it's in the second dialog allow button.
Do you see where it is? Let me check.
Can you go to the new block listener that we just created, the show dialog, please?
Yep. I'm over here.
Can you go inside app settings dialog?
Inside of this.
Oh, okay, no. It says open app settings there. Okay, no. I think we don't have any request function implemented yet. That's missing.
We implemented the function, but I'm looking for this allow buttons on pressed function. On tap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's where you just copy pasted.
It is over here. It is over here. I found it. Yes, this is it. Now let's call context.read permission cubit. And here we are going to call request location permission. Remember what this does? What it does is if we get denied forever from here, we are going to update our display open app settings dialog state accordingly. So this may trigger a block listener update and open this second dialog. Okay, this one is done as well. What else left? Let's think.
We handled the show case for the second dialog. We also handled the height case. We are calling the height method that we implemented in the permission block. And we initiate the request function.
I found one.
Which one? Tell me.
Normally, what we are doing here is to call navigator of context.pop, but instead we are going to call our permission cubit hide open app settings dialog rather than calling navigator of context.pop in the
Great catch.
in this cancel dialog method, right? Hide open app settings dialog. Remember that this method is going to be called when the user cancels the operation here. Okay. Then this will be called and it's going to trigger this block listener over here. And this block listener is going to pop the open dialog. Okay. I don't see anything else that we are missing.
Yeah, do you want to make a quick test after rerunning that?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. I'm reloading the app. I press request location permission, and this dialog opened as expected, and I press allow. Okay, now we see the OS dialog over here, and I am going to reject.
Don't allow it. Exactly.
Okay, I pressed again. In Android, by the way, it asks this permission. You can ask this permission OS dialog twice. If the user denies it, you still have one more chance. But in iOS, you have only one chance. If the user denies it, it's permanently denied. Okay, let's not allow it again. Now, as you see, our blocked listener is triggered, and we see this dialog. As we cannot display the OS dialog anymore, it's permanently denied. The only way the user can allow this permission is to open the app settings and give the permission from there. Let's press open app settings. Okay, we are here. And now I'm going to go back to the app without changing anything, and let's see what happens in the state. As you see, we still have the dialog opened. Now let's go back and allow the permission from here. Choose the permission and change it to allow while using the app. Now going back and see, it is dismissed automatically. How did our app figure out that this is enabled and it should dismiss all the other dialogues? Remember that in the previous video, in the app life cycle subscription, we put some logic code at line 54. If when the user comes from background to the foreground, the location permission status is changed, then, and it is granted, then we should hide the open app settings dialog. So all this logic is handled in the permission qubit, not in the UI. The only thing that we do in the UI is to have two block listeners, very dummy two block listeners that are triggered when the qubit state change and take some necessary actions. And they are simply showing the dialog and dismissing the dialog. Okay, I think that's it. Do you see that we miss anything, Aytunç?
No, I think this wraps up the application layers and the UI requirements for the dialogues. And in the next video, we will actually get into real UI and we will implement a Flutter map and we will implement a user marker and we will animate them. So see you in the next video, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video, please.
Bye.